Welcome to Math with Jim. Today, we're going to do some more order of operations, and we are going to focus on just doing some example problems. So go ahead and get a fresh sheet of paper out and follow along. So let's start with something simple. 4 plus 5 times 3. Now, order of operations does tell us what we're supposed to do first. Are we supposed to do addition or multiplication? And the easiest way to remember this is to write down the classes of operations from trickiest to easiest. So the trickiest, as you may remember, is parentheses. That's kind of new and foreign. So parentheses would be the first thing to do. Next, you've got pluses and minuses. You got multiplication and division. Of these two, multiplication and division is trickier, so it goes next. And then that leaves plus and minus. And that goes last. So what that means you've got to do is, if you've got parentheses, deal with those first. Multiplication and division, second. Addition and subtraction, third. So let's look at how that applies to our problem today. 4 plus 5 times 3. Do we have any parentheses? No. Do we have multiplication or division? Yes, we do. We have some right here. So we're going to do that first. So I'm going to go ahead and do this multiplication problem right here. 5 times 3 is 15. And now I'm just going to bring the 4 down. I'm just rewriting the problem again. 4 plus, the answer to our last problem was 15. So now all we got left is addition. So 4 plus 15 equals 19. So all we did is we looked at our problem. We decided according to our hierarchy of difficulty here. No parentheses. We had multiplication and we had addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division are trickier than addition and subtraction, so we do those first. Let's do another example problem right next to this one. Let's do something with division in it this time. (15) divided by 3 plus 8. Okay, so let's look at this problem. 15 divided by 3 plus 8. Order of operations tells us which one of those two things we have to do first. So let's remember, what is the first thing we do with order of operation? Parentheses. Second, we do more complicated stuff and then less complicated stuff. So in this problem, what's easier, division or addition? Division is more complicated, so we got to do that first. And if we check on our little order, it's correct. First is parentheses, second multiplication and division, third addition and subtraction. So for our problem, we're going to do 15 divided by 3 first. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And I'm just going to rewrite the rest of the problem down here below. So 5 plus 8. 5 plus 8, all it's supposed to do is addition. So 5 plus 8 is 13. And that's how you get your answer there. So once again, all we do is we look at our problem and say, what's the most complicated part? And you do that first. Let's do another example. This example, we're going to make sure that there's a lot more types of math operations. So we're going to do 5 times 3 divided by we do 5 times 8 divided by 2 plus 6 minus 3. Now this one's a lot bigger, but not any harder. Again, we're going to think through order of operations. We start with the most complicated thing, which is parentheses. Do we see any parentheses in here? No, there's no parentheses in here, so we don't have to worry about those. So of the symbols in this problem, what's the most complicated ones? Multiplication and division. here, and here. So let's go ahead and do these problems first. Now you might have another question. These problems here all seem kind of lumped together, like do I do 5 times 8 first? Do I do 8 divided by 2 first? And the answer is it actually doesn't matter, and I'm going to show you how that works right now. So let's just go left to right first. So we're going to start with 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. So let me get my colors so we're consistent here. 5 times 8 becomes 40. Divided by 2. So now, if we do 40 divided by 2, as its own little separate problem, we're going to get 20. Let's try that in a different order. What if, so let's remember first of all that our answer was 20 when we went left to right. That's great. So what if we did it a little bit differently? What if instead of starting there, we started with 8 divided by 2? Let's do that problem first. Eight divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Let's bring the rest of that problem down for us. 5 times 4. Now 5 times 4, what does that become? 20. Does that match the answer we got a minute ago? As you may have suspected, it does indeed. 20 right here matches the 20 that we got earlier. So what that means is it doesn't matter in what order you do those problems. It just matters that you do multiplication and division first. So now that we got that cleared up, I'm going to go ahead and erase this guy right here, and we are going to do the rest of this problem. So we got 20 down here. We're going to bring down the 6 and the 3. So 20 plus 6 minus 3. So now, again, it's addition and subtraction, so it doesn't matter what order we do this in. So we're just going to go left to right. 20 plus 6 is 26. Minus 3 is 23. So the answer to that problem is 23. So once again, not bad. Let's just kind of review what we did really quick. We had a pretty big problem with multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. We know the order of operations tells us to do the most complicated first. There were not any parentheses, but there was multiplication and division. So we started here with 5 times 8 divided by 2. Next, what we did is after we had that part of the problem solved, we moved on to the addition and subtraction, because that's the easiest part, and we did that last. So let's do another problem. This time, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to do 3 times 2 plus 14 divided by 7 minus 6. Alrighty, so this problem is interesting because it's got all the symbols once again except for parentheses. So let's do this. Order of operations, most complicated first. Parentheses are most complicated. Are there any parentheses? No, there are not, so we don't have to worry about those. After parentheses, what's more complicated? Multiplication and division or addition and subtraction? Multiplication and division, definitely more complicated, so we're going to do those first. So left to right. 3 times 2 becomes 6. Now, this is an addition problem, and I can't really do it yet because it's kind of bound up in the 6. So I'm going to move on to this one. 14 divided by 7 14 divided by 7 becomes 2. And so now we need to rewrite this whole problem a step down. Let's get the black ink again. So it's going to be 6, and then the plus sign comes down, plus 2 minus 6. So 6 plus 2 is 8. And then minus 6 equals 2. So this problem looked a little different because the addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication were all split up. But it wasn't too bad because all you have to do is just handle your multiplication and division problems on their own. And then when you're done with those, that's when addition and subtraction have their turn. Let's do another example. This time, we'll do something somewhat similar, but mix it up a little more. 10 divided by 5 plus 6 minus 7 times 3. That's going to be a negative number. We're going to change that a little bit. Minus 2 times 3. We'll keep it small. So we're going to do this one at a time. So first of all, we ask ourselves, order of operations. Start with the most complicated. Are there parentheses? No, there's not. Is there multiplication and division? Yes, there is. Multiplication and division looks like the most complicated next thing to do. So that's what we're going to do. Left to right. 10 divided by 5, 2. Plus 6, just kind of bringing down from above, minus. The next problem we have to do here is 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So now that we've finished all the addition, the multiplication and division, we can do addition and subtraction. So 2 plus 6 minus 6. Now, 6 minus 6 is 0. So I'm actually just going to do this math problem first, right here. 6 minus 6 is 0. So then all I'm left with is the 2 we got up here plus 0, which equals 2, which is pretty easy. And that's all the practice we're going to do for now. Next time, we are going to have some fun with parentheses. And we're going to learn that they are not that scary after all.